Peace to everybody. This is a breaking news. Robert Forster, resurgent Oscar nominee from Jackie Brown, dies at 78. The medium cool actor also starred for David Lynch in Mulholland Drive and Twin Peaks after Tarantino resurrected his career. Robert Forster, the stalwart leading man whose Oscar-nominated performance as a nefarious bail bondsman in Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown made for one of Hollywood's most heartwarming comeback stories, has died. He was 78. So Robert Forster was Oscar nominated for his performance as a nefarious bail bondsman in Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. He passed away. He was 78 years old, and of course, Quentin Tarantino was resurrecting his career. Foster died on Friday at his Los Angeles home from brain cancer, his publicist told The Hollywood Reporter. So Foster had brain cancer, and so he died today at his Los Angeles home. With his chiseled good looks, steely chin, and earnest gaze, Foster exuded a raw truthfulness. He made his film debut opposite Marlon Brando and Elizabeth Taylor in John Hudson's Reflections in a Golden Eye, then sparkled as an ethically challenged cameraman in Haskell Wexler's ultra-realistic medium cool. So he played cameraman in that. He also played opposite of Marlon Brando and Elizabeth Taylor in John Hudson's Reflections in a Golden Eye, and it was a 1967 movie. And of course, there's a medium cool that which was in 1969. Foster then took on no-nonsense heroic title characters on television to build on his stardom, portraying a dogged 1930s detective on NBC's Banyan, which premiered in 1971, and a Native American police deputy in New Mexico on ABC's Nakia, which bowed in 1974. However, the shows lasted just 15 and 14 episodes, respectively, before being canceled. He was played a 1930s detective on NBC's Banyan, which premiered in 1971, and a Native American police deputy in New Mexico on ABC's Nakia, and it bowed in 1974, and unfortunately, it only lasted just 15 and 14 episodes, respectively, before being canceled. Foster captured a spaceship in Disney's ambitious sci-fi thriller The Black Hole, but it proved to be a box office disappointment. Other lowlights soon followed, including Alligator, The Kinky Coaches, and The Pom Pom, Pussycats, Vigilant, Hollywood Harry, and Satan's Princess. So he has been in other movies too as well. Of course, Foster captained a spaceship in Disney's ambitious, and it was a sci-fi thriller, The Black Hole, but it proved to be a box office disappointment, so I guess that movie didn't go too well. Other lowlights soon followed, including Alligator, 1980, The Kinky Coaches and The Pom Pom, Pussycats, 1981, Vigilant, 1982, Hollywood Harry, 1986, and Satan's Princess, 1989. By the early 90s, the actor was down to supporting roles in such low-budget efforts as Manic Cop 3, Badge of Silence, Body Chemistry 3, Point of Seduction, and Scanner Cop 2, and supplementing his income with speaking engagements. So he has been in other roles as well, but it was down to supporting roles, like Manic Cop 3, Badge of Silence, Body Chemistry 3, Point of Seduction, and Scanner Cop 2. So that's where he was at after. I went 21 months without a job. I had 4 kids. I took any job I could get, Foster told the Chicago Tribune in 2018, raising and then lowering his hand to indicate his fortunes. My career went like this for 5 years and then like that for 27. Every time it reached a lower level, I thought I could tolerate it. Drop some more and then some more. Near the end, I had no agent, no manager, no lawyer, no nothing. I was taking whatever fell through the cracks. So he was without a job for 21 months. He had 4 kids. He also said that he could take a job, any job that he could get. And this is what he told the Chicago Tribune. And of course, you can't trust the Chicago Tribune. So, and he also said my career went like this for 5 years and then like that for 27. It dropped some more and then some more. So, and also, he says I was taking whatever fell through the cracks. A fan of Foster since he was a kid, Tarantino had brought the actor into audition for the part of aging gangster Joe Cabot in 1992's Reservoir Dogs, but he had his heart set on casting Lawrence Tierney. Tarantino never forgot Foster. However, as he was crafting the screenplay for Jackie Brown, an adaptation of Elmore Leonard's 1992 novel Rum Punch, he wrote Max Cherry with him in mind. So Foster also, since he was a kid, Tarantino had brought the actor into audition for the part of aging gangster Joe Cabot. And of course, it was in 1992's Reservoir Dogs. And I have to admit, that's a pretty good movie, Reservoir Dogs. You had to see that. Tarantino never forgot Foster. However, he was crafting the screenplay for Jackie Brown, and of course that's a 1997 movie, and an adaptation of Elmore Leonard's 1992 novel Rum Punch. So he also wrote Max Cherry with him in mind. Years had gone by, and I ran into him in a coffee shop. By then, my career was really, really dead, Foster recalled in a 2018 interview with Fandor, and we blabbed for a few minutes. And then 6 months later, he showed up at the same coffee shop with the script in his hands and handed it to me. So yeah, the years had gone by. Of course, he ran into him in a coffee shop. And then he said, by then, my career was really, really dead. Foster recalled in a 2018 interview with Fandor, and he said we blabbed for a few minutes, and then 6 months later, he showed up at the same coffee shop with a script in his hands. And of course, they handed it to him. When I read it, I could hardly believe that he had me in mind for Max Cherry, except that nothing else made any sense. So when I asked him about it, he said, yes, it's Max Cherry that I wrote for you. That's when I said to him, I'm sure they're not going to let you hire me, he said. I hire anybody I want, and that's when I realized I was going to get another shot at a career. So the person who brought the script to Foster for Max Cherry, he accepted that, So he asked him about it. He said, "Yes, it's Max Cherry that I wrote for you." So this person wrote Foster about Max Cherry. Then he said, "That's when I said to him, I'm sure they're not going to let you hire me." So he told the person that they're not going to let him hire me, but the person says, "I hire anybody I want." So that's what the person said to Foster. After Jackie Brown, Foster was initiated with offers and worked in such films as Psycho, 1998, Me, Myself, and Irene, 2000, Mulholland Drive, 2001, Human Nature, 2001, Like Mike, 2002, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, 2003, Firewall, 2006, Lucky Number 11, 2006, and The Descendants, 2011. So he had more movies that he was starring in, such as Psycho, Me, Myself, and Irene, and that's a funny movie. Mulholland Drive, Human Nature, Like Mike, another good movie with Bow Wow. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, Firewall, Lucky Number 11, good movie, and The Descendants. He also portrayed Jen Edward Clegg in the action film Olympus Has Fallen and its 2016 sequel, and gave a stirring performance of what they had as a distraught husband trying to care for his wife as she battles Alzheimer's. His latest film, Breaking Bad spin-off El Camino, released on Friday. So he also portrayed General Edward Clegg in the action film Olympus Has Fallen, and that's a 2013 movie. Of course, there was a sequel for that in 2016. Also, he's stirring performance in What They Had, 2018. Of course, caring for his wife, who was played by Blythe Danner, and she battles Alzheimer's. So, and it's a pretty good performance of movies that he was in. Robert Wallace Foster Jr. was born on July 13th, 1941 in Rochester, New York. His father worked as an animal trainer for Ringley Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. As a nod to Foster's dad, a circus poster is displayed in Max Cherry's office. So Robert Wallace Foster Jr., he was born on July 13th, 1941, and of course he was in Rochester, New York. His father worked as an animal trainer for Ringley Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Foster attended the University of Rochester intent on becoming a lawyer, but those plans went awry. I was a senior. I followed a girl into the auditorium trying to think of something to say. They were doing auditions. This girl was already in the play, I said. That's how I'm going to meet the girl, Foster said. The production was Bye Bye Birdie, and he got a spot in the chorus. He not only met the girl, June Provenzano, he married her, and they had 3 daughters. So Foster did attend the University of Rochester, intent on becoming a lawyer, but of course, unfortunately, his plans went awry, and he was a senior. He followed a girl into an auditorium trying to think of something to say, but you know how guys are. They're shy. They don't know what to say to a girl, and they're shy and scared because they're afraid that the girl will reject them. So, and of course, Foster said the production was Bye Bye Birdie. That's what he was auditioning for, and he got a spot in the chorus. After graduating in 1964, Foster headed to New York City and made his Broadway debut the following year in Mrs. Daly, a 3-person play that also starred Arlene Francis and Ralph Meeker. He received a rave in the Broadway ballyhoo column of the Hollywood Reporter, and that led to a screen test at 20th Century Fox, one of the last performers put under contract by studio chief Darryl F. Zanuck. He auditioned for Hudson, who put him in Reflections and A Golden Eye. So he graduated in 1964. Foster headed to New York City and made his Broadway debut the following year in Mrs. Daly. It's a three-person play that also starred Arlene Francis and Ralph Meeker as well. In the movie, Foster portrays the free-spirited Private L.G. Williams, who becomes the obsession of Brando's Major Penderton and rides a horse in the moonlight and the nude. Ooh, wait, now this is a family show, not a naked show. It was the movie Foster portrays the free-spirited Private L.G. Williams, who became the obsession of Brando's Major Penderton and rides a horse in the moonlight and, well, in the nude. I would actually pass on that one. On the first day of filming, Hudson told him to look through the camera lens. You see those? Those are the frame lines. Now ask yourself this. What needs to be there? He told the Tribune. So with that one piece of Zen advice, Houston gave me the responsibility and the authority to come up with what's supposed to be in that frame. And I'm sorry about the name Hudson. I thought it was, but it's Houston. I apologize. On the first day of filming, Houston told him to look through the camera lens, and he asked, you see those? And of course, they were the frame lines. And he also said, now ask yourself this, what needs to be there? And this is what he told the Tribune. After guest spots on NYPD and Judd for the Defense and supporting roles in the features The Stalking Moon, 1968, and Justine, 1969, Foster had his star-making turn in Medium Cool, the film which dealt with government intrusion, race, the Vietnam War, and the rising importance of the TV news, became a touchstone for the cultural upheaval happening throughout America with its innovative blending of dramatic fictional footage with documentary images that Wexler had captured during the tumultuous 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. And of course, you cannot trust the Democrats because they're the evil ones. He also had guest spots on NYPD and Judd for the Defense and supporting roles that features like The Stalking Moon and Justine. So, of course, he did a lot of things in his career. The film, which dealt with government intrusion, race, the Vietnam War, and the rising importance of TV news, became a touchstone for the cultural upheaval happening throughout America, of course. That was all real stuff. That was, they tell me, the best or only real example of cinema verite in American film, Foster told the AV Club in 2000. I think the phrase, the whole world is watching, was coined at that exact moment when the military was trying to separate the crowd from the press. They were pushing them, separating them, and the crowd was yelling, don't leave us, don't leave us, the whole world is watching. So between the media and the crowd, they were being separated. The military was trying to separate the crowd from the press. They were pushing them, separating them, and the crowd was yelling, "Don't leave us! Don't leave us! The whole world is watching." So this is what they was doing. Following Foster's return as Jackie Brown, he lost the supporting actor Oscar to Robin Williams of Good Will Hunting. David Lynch tapped him to play Detective McKnight in the hypnotic Mulholland Drive, and when the filmmaker decided to revive his cult AV series Twin Peaks in 2017, he called upon Foster to play Sheriff Frank Truman, brother of Harold Truman. Michael Antique, I don't know, some kind of name, in the original series. So following Foster's return as Jackie Brown, he lost the supporting Oscar to Robin Williams because of Good Will Hunting. David Lynch tapped him to play Detective Midnight in a hypnotic Mulholland Drive, and of course the filmmaker decided to revive his cult ABC series Twin Peaks. Lynch tried to hire me the first time he did Twin Peaks, but I was busy. I was doing something, Foster told Vulture in 2018. He is a very, very good guy, and when we did the second Twin Peaks, he was very generous to me and gave me the kind of part that I enjoyed doing probably the best. A straight shooter, no nonsense, not a wild offbeat character. So that's who he was. When the Twin Peaks, he was a very, of course, the person who tapped him on he said that the person was very, very generous to him and gave him the kind of part that he enjoyed doing probably the best. And of course, it was a straight shooter, no nonsense, not a wild offbeat character. Foster also kept busy playing recurring characters on Karen Cisco as Carla Gugino's father in another Leonard adaptation, The Grid, Huff, Alcatraz, good movie, Last Man Standing as Tim Allen's dad, and as the patriarch of a family of supernatural beings heroes. Foster has been keeping very busy playing of course he was playing reoccurring characters all over the place. Survivors include his third wife Evie and his children Elizabeth, Karen, and Megan and Robert. So those are his survivors, his 4 kids, and of course his wife Evie. Foster said that when his career was at its lowest ebb, he had what he called an epiphany. So of course, his career was spiraling down until he finally got it back up again and did wonderfully. It was the simple one, he said. When you realize you know what? You're not dead yet, Bob. You can win it in the late innings. You've still got the late innings, but you can't quit. Never quit. So he said it was the simple one, he said. And of course, he's also said when you realize, you know what? You're not dead yet, Bob. And he said, you can win it in the late innings. You've still got the late innings, but you can't quit. And so, it's sad now that he is gone. And of course, his surviving wife and 4 children. And my heart goes out to that family and condolences as well. Leave your comments below. I am out.